Michel Weatherall is here in the studio. Welcome back. It's been a minute.
It's been a little bit of time, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
And congratulations, another Faces Award. I think that once you've won 7 times, you cannot win anymore.
Maybe.
That's my own rule.
Thank you.
We'll go offline about that conversation. But what caught my eye, Terry, and I was saying this early on, is that I've always known you about books and writers and writing and printing and publishing. But you won an interesting category called sustainable publishing, and so I just needed to know if you were here with a whole bag full of tree seedlings, and you're going to be leaving me with some, or what the sustainable publishing is all about. But first of all, welcome back. Thank
you. It's always a pleasure. We launched Sustainable Publishing March last year, so it's been a calendar year now.
Okay.
And
so
really,
it's a specific initiative.
It was, yeah. My background's in print. I've been in printing for about 4 decades, and what I had to listen the entire time for 40 years, people telling me, waving their finger at me and telling me that paper's bad, it's killing the forest,
right.
And the fact of the matter is it's not. There's this concept that paper mills gets their trees from clean cutting, and they don't. They practice what's called sustainable forestry management. And what it is, it's for every 3 trees they harvest for paper, they plant 4. So the forests are actually increasing because of the use of paper.
Good.
And, it is very good. And that's what's one of the catchphrases we're using, is that the books literally breathe oxygen into the atmosphere, and they do, because it's not. There's this misconception that paper is bad, and we're really trying to move away from that. And the other side of it was there's a misconception that ebooks have no footprint. But the thing is, you have to have a cell phone, an e-reader, a notebook, a laptop. You can't read an ebook by itself. And when you look into these devices, especially with their lithium batteries and how they're mined and how they're disposed of, it's shocking how damaging they are. And we're starting to see that now as we get more information about electric cars. With the lithium-ion batteries are terrible for the environment.
Well, yeah, and like if I had a great book that I had downloaded on my phone, and I wanted to let my friend read what I was reading, I guess I'd just have to hand them my phone.
Yeah, I mean, there's some options.
It would be an awfully big email that I would be sending, or some kind of access permissions. And anytime that anything involving bits and bytes is it's energy.
Need devices. They've also, like, when you consider cell phones, e-readers, notebooks, anything, the carbon footprint of smartphones is the most damaging device there is to the environment compared to gases or anything else.
What?
So,
Excuse me?
It is.
Excuse me?
It's and even they were saying some studies have been done for the lithium battery disposals. Most are thrown out as opposed to recycled. They're saying they believe only 5% of the world's lithium batteries are recycled, and there was a survey done in Australia that found 98.3% went into landfills. And when they go in the landfills, they leach heavy metals into the groundwater, into the soil. It's toxic. And so what we decided to do with the sustainable publishing, part of it was our ebook sales hover around 3%. So they aren't huge. But once we started looking into the factors of the paper actually puts more trees into the ground, the fallout from lithium batteries, we decided that we're just, as of March last year, we're no longer publishing ebooks. It's print books or printed demand only. And that was basically the initiative in itself.
This is blowing my mind a little bit, Michel. Just a little bit, but I can see it. I can see it. I mean, I don't have to think too far back about just the basics of the phone, right? And when I grew up, get ready, folks. Get ready, kids. Here it comes. Another dad reference. The phone that we had in our house was the phone.
Yeah.
It was in the kitchen. The only thing that changed in our phone in my lifetime was we had to change the cord a couple times because there'd be fights, right? Somebody would be stretching the phone, and there'd be a wrestling match, and we'd forget all about the phone, and next thing you know, the cord gets like broken, and then we're all punished severely for that. Me and my brothers and I. But that phone did not change in 20 years, and now if my phone looks more than a year old, people are kind of looking at it saying, "Oh,
Well, that's right.
you've got the version 7.
Need the brand new
Version
toy.
13 is out, buddy. What's wrong with you?" We're constantly tossing away
Yeah.
and upgrading. And
Technology
at
has
the end of the
become a race.
day, we have less time in our lives because of what we're carrying around with us, because we're constantly looking at it. And the time to pause and to read should be the only thing you're doing if you decide to read. I don't know how my wife can do it. She can be doing 3 things, but I've learned that she can't, because when I ask her later on about something, she's forgotten, because there's too many things happening in her world. Reading is still something that is special if you are able to. I mean, I wasn't able to read for the longest time because of ADD and not knowing that the reason why I can't get to page 3 is that I've already been distracted too many times on pages 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily now I'm just getting around to that and enjoying at least short books, and just sort of getting, I have to basically exercise that reading muscle.
Yeah.
But I still need paper. I have trouble reading anything longer. Like if somebody sends me a long, as I call it, a long ass email,
Yeah.
like this particular statement that I'm doing right now, it's pretty long.
Yeah.
A lot of words.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you still with me? So I have to have it on paper. And so I'm thankful that you've found a way to give me what I need from a personal level.
Yeah.
And you're also still taking ownership of what impact they're having on the environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's the goal of this. I mean, the other side that you're talking about, I'm noticing with the younger generations as well, is that if it's not in a short clip like a YouTube, the focus tends to be difficult. So like you said, reading it's a skill you develop, especially when you get into longer pieces or more complicated pieces, and it's something we need to practice.
Yeah, it's the worst thing that the people can do is leave the most important thing right to the end.
Yeah.
And people miss it. It's the same as somebody leaving an embarrassing long email or phone message, and you've been getting, and then you're waiting for them to give the number to call them back, and by the time they get there, they realize, oh, I've been talking a long time, and then they call me back 612-257. No, bye. So, yeah, too much information all the time.
Yeah.
But congrats. So, what do you think would be a way to expand this program now?
Well, what we're doing now, we're starting to reach out to local bookshops, and we'll offer, like, we have a poster, we have a logo, we have, if a bookshop wants to get on board with it, the criteria are pretty easy. They have to carry a sustainable publishing title, which we have currently. We have close to 50 titles published. 18 of the last ones are sustainable publishing. You'd have to not sell ebooks, and no bookstores sell ebooks. And the biggest one is you cannot sell e-readers or devices. And that's about it. Now, right now, the Books Better bookshop in Smith Falls is a sustainable publishing bookshop. You can get the merchandise there, the I Support Sustainable Publishing mugs as well as T-shirts. And we're slowly starting to reach out to local bookstores for that now.
But why be so controlling? Why not allow? Why can't both exist?
What do you mean?
Well, you're saying that if they want to have this, they can't be that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to have a bookstore that sells ebooks, it contradicts to what we're actually trying to do. We're actually trying to bring the traffic and the people back to local bookstores, because I think that shift is happening right now. We are seeing it come back to the smaller independent bookshops, because it was the big box bookstores for a while now. And I think their day is, they're not done, but I think the focus is going back since the pandemic to the smaller independent bookstores. And that's a good thing.
Well, I was just talking to somebody about that. I haven't seen this for myself, but they were saying that at Costco, really they used to have an entire aisle of
As
books.
of the end of last year, Costco's across Canada are no longer carrying books. They're only going to do it on seasonal, probably Christmas. So that's something that they've moved away from as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It's a changing world.
It is. It always is.
Yeah.
It always is. So what about writing. What is Michel doing? Any writing right now?
I haven't for a while. I'm actually due to a sequel to Narrow Sojourney for, I think it's been 5 years now, and we've started publishing full out since the beginning of 2022, so that's become a big task in itself. I've retired from my job last April, so it'll be a year next month.
Whoa.
So I'm only doing this, and next month also marks 10-year anniversary for Broken Keys Publishing and Press.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so busy.
Time
other
is
things.
flying.
Time is flying.
It's funny. This fellow I was talking to about Costco and that, he used to work for the government. And I thought, so he had this funny line. He says, I used to read a lot. He says, but now I'm retired and I'm too busy. So I'm thinking, wait a second. Where were you reading?
What were you reading?
You're working for the government and you had time to read, but now you're retired and you're too busy to read. You see where I'm thinking, where my head went
I'm
right
not
away?
going to say it out loud, but yep.
It's exactly where my head went. It's like, okay, well, all right, good for you. Good for you. The whole idea of the Faces Award's always been confounding and confusing to me. But like I said, you've had good success in it. If nothing else, it gets you're able to add that to your beside your name, and but the fact that I'm pleased that they've started adding more categories.
Yeah.
But it's gotten outrageous right now.
I think it's over 300.
I sat down one night and I almost didn't vote this year at all, honestly.
Yeah.
And then it got about the end of week 2. I said, well, okay, let's take a look. And I got in, and then I started going through the categories, and nearly an hour.
Yeah.
Nearly an hour of scrolling and looking at names, and I'm just trying to say, do I know this person? I can't vote. I'm not going to vote for a category if I don't know anyone. Like, I'm not going to vote for the best mixologist. Right?
Oh, I know some of the. It's crazy how many they have.
Like, and even though there were some cool names, like there was probably like a Sir Mix-a-Lot, and Spilly Sippy Cupper, and but it's there needs to be a way to streamline and say, okay, next time I log in, I voted for these 12 or 15 people in these 12 or 15 categories. Can I just not sort of save them in an alternate template and just say,
just keep going through
please consider this another vote for my favorites? That would be my suggestion back to them, but that's counterintuitive to what they want. I guess they want everybody to look at everything, but like, I'm not going to remember, for example, I may need fence repair.
Yeah.
And there were fence skill trades in one of the categories.
Yeah.
I don't remember a single nominee.
Yeah.
Because I just blew right by it. That's just my critique.
Yeah.
It's not gonna bring me to someone's doorstep. You're defending them now? Are you defending them?
Not to a point. I mean, I know
you should, because you've won. So
I get flack for it sometimes too. I think that what people really need to be understand about what the Faces of Ottawa Awards are is it's more about networking than it is anything else. As far as I'm concerned, if you make that final list, there's no difference in winning. If you're on that final list, you get as much exposure anyway, and it's about networking with other people.
I've been around forever. I've never been.
Well, we need to change that next year.
No, I don't want to be on it. My daughter was on it. I remember talking about that.
Yeah.
My daughter was nominated for Best Server. And I was thinking to myself, no, she's not. She's a terrible server. But she had 100 and some gajillion followers.
Yeah.
And so that's why she was there.
Yeah, it's a popularity
And guess what? She won.
Yeah.
She's still not the best server.
Yeah.
I mean, what's wrong with me, Michel? I just like to get fired up sometimes and cause trouble.
It's all good.
But you're smiling. Retirement. So this means, well, hey, this means you could host a radio show, doesn't it?
I could.
What would Michel Weatherall's radio show be about?
I would do local authors, non-traditional authors. That's what I would do, because there's a wellspring of them in Ottawa.
Yeah.
It's rich with it. It's just a matter of making the connections. And that's one of the things we try to do. Like I say, I think we have 16 signed authors right now, and we're approaching 50 titles that's been released. And it's just about getting the local voices out there, because there's a lot of talent in the city, not just in literature, but in music as well. And it's just a matter of connecting those pieces, I think.
Have you ever published a songbook for an artist?
I have not.
That would be a great
That would
project.
be cool, yeah. There are some things. There's an individual I'm talking to about a graphic novel. That would be a first, because we don't have graphic novels yet. And yeah, a songbook would be awesome too.
A songbook.
Yeah.
I know that a buddy of mine was working on like the ultimate campfire songbook,
Yeah.
right? So with all the Canadian, pride, I think we need the Canadian campfire songbook,
It's doable. We can do it.
right?
We can get it done.
And we'll have all the U's in where they should be,
Yeah.
right?
Armor, color,
favorite,
neighborhood.
right? You are the you in your neighborhood,
I like that.
right? 8:54. I've given you a hard time this morning, Michel, but you're holding your own, my friend. And let me tell you a little secret. You said about a lot of talent. It might grow.
Micro.
Might grow very soon,
Yeah.
because you're sitting very close to entry number. I can't give away my entry number in the Writing in 150 competition that's happening in Winchester a week from Saturday.
Okay.
I have entered in the fiction
Awesome.
category, and I get 150 minutes
Wow.
to write my fiction piece and it's going to be basically judged right there.
That's
There's
exciting.
a maximum of 12 people per category, and I just squeaked into I was number 12 in the 12
Are you nervous?
fiction. Well, I don't think I need to be, because
No.
I've never done it before. So the worst thing that could happen is I sit there and I just write one line, and it'll be at least the shortest,
Yeah.
book ever, which would be really good for some people, saying, "Hey, I read a whole book today." But this could be the beginning.
It's exciting.
Apparently, what they're going to do is they're going to give me. It's kind of like improv comedy.
Yeah.
They're going to say they're going to give me a name. They're going to give me maybe a time period, and then possibly one other
Maybe
thing.
a genre or something.
Yeah, and then just heads down, and we're all supposed to bring a fully charged laptop, and so right away, I've got to think about I like writing on paper, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of practicing ahead of time, I suppose. But
You can't let you write it on
but
paper?
I've been thinking each day. I give myself those three things, and I start writing in my head while I'm driving around.
Yeah. It's good.
And I'm making stories up, and I've come up with some pretty crazy. Because in fiction, anything goes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where
Or you're gonna tell me-
spontaneous creativity comes in.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I was almost gonna do like a quiz today, and I was gonna say, okay, we've got. I'm gonna put a song on, right? And we've got a guest here in the studio besides Michel. Maggie's here, and I was gonna have Maggie and we're gonna all the songs playing. We have to write, and we'll see who writes the best. Like we have 93 words to write, like a teaser for what the novel's going to be about, and see how we do.
No pressure. No pressure
I'm
at
not
all.
going to do that. Maybe I'll do that next week, because next week will be the Thursday right before the competition. I'll probably be more nervous next week.
Yeah. You're going to keep us in the loop?
Should I? What if I fail miserably? What if
No such thing as failing miserably.
What if my laptop gets liquid spilled on it and then I'm disqualified? I don't know. Appreciate you coming in, Michel.
It's always a pleasure.
And how do folks reach you if they want to talk about this some more, or
If
talk
they
to you
want
about?
to check some of this out, they can go to our website, www.brokenkeyspublishing.com. There's a page on it for sustainable publishing, which goes into a lot more detail. And you can pick up some merchandise at the Books Better Bookshop in Smiths Falls.
All right, Broken Keys, plural.
Yep.
Publishing.
All one word, .com.
.com. Very good. Well, appreciate you back here, and you're doing well in retirement. You're looking good, and think about hosting a show here at CKCU.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, okay,
Thanks,
man.
Jeff.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
That was Michel Weatherall, and appreciate him coming in to tell us all about sustainable publishing.